Hello and welcome to Auto Today. I'm Dipayan and you're joining me for the review of the brand new Toyota Innova Hycross. Now, while it might share its name with the Innova Crysta, this is in fact an all-new car, and that means it's underpinned by an all-new platform. Now, where the Innova Crysta used to be a ladder-on frame, this is a monocoque. It has a hybrid powertrain. And of course, unlike the Innova Crysta, it is a front-wheel drive setup car. Now, there's a whole lot to unpack when it comes to the new Innova Hycross. So let's jump straight into our review. And the perfect place to start that is, of course, design. Not only has Toyota made a vast departure in terms of underpinnings of the new Toyota Hycross, the design too has changed significantly. With their finger on the pulse of the Indian market, Toyota has molded the new Hycross to appear more like an SUV, ditching the iconic MPV silhouette of the Innova Crysta. This is where the cross bit in the Hycross comes in, hinting at more of an MPV crossover design theme than before. Up front, you get a massive SUV-style hexagonal grille finished in gunmetal that sets the tone for the rest of the car. It's underlined by a much beefier bumper with inset DRLs and a tiny but powerful set of fog lamps at the very bottom. But what really sets the Hycross apart is that raised flat bonnet line that instantly screams SUV. On the flanks of the grille are all new LED headlamps that are very similar to the units that we saw on the Innova ZenX that was recently unveiled in Indonesia. In profile, the Innova Hycross continues the crossover design theme with a distinct shoulder line and belt line that flow into aggressively flared wheel arches. There's also a revised design to the glass house with changes focused on the D-pillar to give it an aesthetic boost. The brand new 18-inch 10-spoke alloy wheels look good, but one can't help but feel that larger wheels would have filled out the wheel arches better. Although it's probably left as is for the sake of ride comfort. Finally, at the back, the new Innova Hycross gets large wraparound LED tail lights and a blacked out skid plate for the rear bumper. The number plate housing is fitted into a sharp recess on the tailgate. Now, as far as dimensions go, the Hycross is 4,755mm in length and 1,850mm in width, both of which are marginally larger than the Crysta, and it even features a 100mm longer wheelbase. Now, from the moment you step into the cabin of the new Innova Hycross, you're going to notice how much the interiors have changed and what a vast departure it is from the car that it replaces. Gone are the dated looking interiors, and they've been replaced by a whole lot of tech that will make your drive more easy. For starters, you get this 10.1-inch infotainment system that's compatible for wireless Android Auto as well as Apple CarPlay. You get a wireless charger up front. You get ventilated seats on both front seats, while the front driver's seat is electronically adjustable. That said, you also get these lovely tan interiors that are matched on the dash as well as on the door panels, which makes the Innova a really nice place to be. You also get those really nice cup holders from the older Innova, which I think are really cool, and I like the fact that they've been carried forward. The instruments are digi-analog, which means that you get some digital meters as well as analog meters. The digital part of it will display your speed, range, all the critical information, while the analog meters display how much fuel you have, the engine temperatures, as well as the hybrid state. And finally, but in no way least, is this massive panoramic sunroof that you get that extends right from the front row to the second row and opens all the way back as well. I think it's a really cool feature, and it's something that the Innova needed for a long time. But when it comes to the Innova, it's more about being a passenger, so let's hop into the second and third row and see how the Innova Hycross fares. Now, seating 7 in an Innova is a very important point for customers. So for reference, I'm about 6 feet tall and there is still usable space. I can bring the seat further back, have a full adult sitting in front, and still have space for my knees, which is really cool. You get an AC vent at the back, you get 2 cup holders, as well as a cigarette lighter port which you can use to charge your mobile. But I think the best feature on the third row of the Innova Hycross is the fact that you can tilt the seat back when you want to and get even more space. I think that this really is a third row that is usable even for adults, which is something that we don't get to say very often. But I think the party piece of the Innova Hycross is this second row, and more specifically these 2 Ottoman seats. But before I get into that, let's talk a little about the features that you get at the back. Of course, you get your own individual climate control for the rear, which means that you can set your temperature separate to what the front zone is. You get 2 fast USB chargers, plenty of cubbies, and you even get this table that can be folded in. Another really thoughtful feature is, of course, this sunshade, which works great especially when you're driving long hours and you need to shut out the sun. Now, these 2 captain seats though are the absolute party piece of this car, and most specifically, of course, is their ability to recline completely with a footrest, and that's what we're going to show you right now. And recline completely is an almost understatement. You can totally lie down and have a nap in this car, and for the best part, you get that amazing sunroof view when you do. And now, from behind the wheel of the new Toyota Innova Hycross, there are some things that we have to get clear right off the bat. Now, while it might share the Innova name, this is in essence an all-new car, and that means, as opposed to the Innova Krista before it, this sits on a monocoque platform and is front-wheel drive only, where the Innova Krista was a ladder-on frame chassis with a rear drive only setup. Now that means that the first thing you're going to notice once you're in the car is how drastically the body roll has decreased. Now this chassis corners much better, it changes direction much easier, and that body roll has almost gone entirely. Now powering this new platform is a brand new engine and powertrain, which is a hybrid powertrain, of course, using a 2-liter engine and an electric motor. In total, the powertrain makes about 186 bhp and 206 Nm of torque, and it's mated to an eCVT with a manual mode and 6 locked speeds. Now, as far as driving goes, the engine is super smooth, especially in the city, and when it's on EV mode, you can almost not hear the engine at all, because of course it is in electric mode and the electric motor is driving the wheels, which means it's absolutely silent, and that's something that continues even when the petrol motor is on. So that's something that is really nice. And as far as noises in the cabin are concerned, they are more or less really well damped, and not too much makes it into the cabin. Of course, if you really step on it, then the CVT does have a little bit of a rubber band effect, but aside from that, this car is really nice to drive, especially when you compare it to the old Innova Krista. Now, aside from that, where the new Hycross shines is its safety suite, which is an extensive suite that now has auto dipping headlamps, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, and blind spot monitoring, all of which can be manually switched off from the steering wheel itself. You also get on this new Innova Hycross paddle shifters for the first time, which you can use in manual mode, switching between 6 different speeds on the eCVT. Now, the only thing I really don't like about the new Toyota Hycross when it comes to driving is the new suspension setup. Of course, it works well when you're driving fast or you're cornering, but where it really loses out for being almost too stiff and bottoming out is in the low speed driving conditions, where on potholed roads, then there's a lot of judders and shakes that are transferred to the cabin, which is not really something that you're used to in a Toyota. In my opinion, I see the Innova Hycross as more of a replacement to the petrol Innova than the diesel one, since it will continue alongside that as the Innova Krista. But now this gasoline powered Innova makes a very strong case for itself based on the fact that it gets a whole lot of new features, this cool new look, and of course that hybrid powertrain that is so very efficient. Now where Toyota needs to get it right is of course the pricing, and if they do, I don't see any reason why this car shouldn't be a runaway success. Now, of course, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It means a whole lot to us. And don't forget to subscribe to the Auto Today channel if you already haven't. That's it from us. This is Didi signing off.